and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, roll call, Diane.
Mayor Skoog,
Present.
Vice Mayor Nye is absent this evening. Councilmember Mallory,
Here.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Whiting,
Here.
Councilmember Marshall,
Still here.
Councilmember Grossman.
Still here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Now we move on to number 4, new business for review, comment, and or possible action. A is consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 1914, approving adoption of a tentative town budget for fiscal year 2015-16 and notice of public hearing on June 25th, 2015. Bill, any comments?
Okay, Mr. Mayor and Council, this is another in what may seem like a never-ending set of steps to go ahead and adopt the budget. But from the staff's perspective, we would like to thank you. Thank you for allowing us to have a streamlined budget process that has served us extremely well for the last 11 years, and one where you feel confident in the amount of work that staff has done to meet the objectives and policy goals that you have set out in your 2 retreats, and we truly appreciate your confidence and trust in us that we are, number one, being fiscally responsible, and number 2, that we're putting together numbers that live well within the revenue means that we have available to us. So with that in mind, Bill is ready to take you through this next step. And once again, we would like to thank you for your trust.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. The request before you tonight is to approve the tentative budget for fiscal year 2015-16 and also sets the public hearing dates and notices and when the notices will be published in a newspaper and all those things, which is attached to as Exhibit B in your RFCA. Back on April 29th and 30th, town staff came before you and talked about their budgets and gave their brief presentations to you and opened up for discussions. And as a result, there were 2 changes that actually came out of those discussions. And then there was 2 other changes that occurred in our review process, and so I'd like to go over those changes real briefly. The first one and the biggest one was in a non-departmental fund or budget in the general fund, we decreased professional services by $440,000. That was the amount of money that we had budgeted for the mid-decadal census. So that has now been removed from the general fund budget. The other item was in our review process, which we didn't discuss with you because I didn't really notice it at the time, was that we had 1 police officer and their benefits that was actually budgeted to photo enforcement. As you know, photo enforcement doesn't exist anymore, so we went ahead and we moved all those salary and benefits from photo enforcement to patrol. So now when you look in the budget book, you'll see that there is zeros in there for photo enforcement, so we have no money budgeted for photo enforcement. But there was no net effect to the police department's budget as a result of that. The other item was there's a donation fund, and in the special revenue fund, the money we receive from NCU, where we can use that for specific purposes. Originally, I had $75,000 budgeted in operating expenses and $50,000 budgeted in capital. After further discussions with Larry, we felt it was more appropriate to put $50,000 or increase capital outlay by $50,000. So right now you'll see operational expenses at $25,000 and capital at $100 for the various items that we would like to purchase next year using the NCU money. The last item was discussed by John Munderloh for underwater resource. There was something that was overlooked. And so what we had to do is we had to add $115,000 into professional services. That's for the modeling, and for the Big Chino. And What we did, though, is to keep that budget whole, we decreased capital by $115,000 and some change. So there was no net effect to or no increase or decrease to the Water Resource Fund. So the only major change at all in the budget was in the general fund. So with those changes, the tentative budget for fiscal year 2015-16 is $75,618,793. It's an increase of 8%, or approximately about $5.6 million increase over last year. Just as a reminder, this is our first step in approving a budget. Once a tentative budget is approved, it cannot be increased during a public hearing. It can only be decreased during a public hearing. Also, with your approval tonight, the public hearing will be set at June 25th. At that point, I'll go over a little bit more information, just give a little bit more detail, a little bit more like an overview at that point, and it'll be open to the public for questions. The notices will be published in the Courier on June 5th and 12th. And again, I'm going to lose my voice here shortly. The budget books will be available up in Larry's office. We also brought one up in the library here on the second floor. And Lee is trying to get it loaded into on our website. This is the GFOA version. The one that we presented to you was a detailed version, which has all the account codes and everything. This is a summarized version. It's only about 80 pages less, but again, it's less information, and this is the one that people will be seeing on our website. So with that, I hope, I was just going to finish up. Lee is trying to get our budget on our website. She was running into a few little glitches. So we hope to either have it either today or on Tuesday. It'll be up on our website. So with that, I'll answer any questions that
Questions, anyone?
council might have.
Marty?
No, if there's no questions, I'll make a motion.
Okay, I think, Bill, you're trying to sell us this by the pound, not by the dollar. Motion, Marty?
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 1914 approving adoption of tentative town budget for fiscal year 2015-16 and notice of public hearing on June 25th, 2015 by electronic vote.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, with a motion and a second, would you set the vote, Diane? And that passes. Bill, appreciate that. Good
Thank you,
job.
Mayor.
Okay, now we have consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor.
Don't all come up at once.
Don't everybody come up at Brianna, any comments? Okay. Okay, if there's no comments from the public, we have one more item that everybody hates. It's a motion to adjourn. Anyone care to do so?
Enjoy the graduation. What time does it start?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. A second, anyone?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Diane? And that one passes. Meeting is adjourned. And thank you, audience.